I'm Shirin Yadagar. You're watching Moms Matter. Today from San Francisco, we have CEO and founder of Curious Cardinals, Audrey Wish, who came down here to hold a few conferences to talk about AI, how it can improve your life and help you just get through all the busy clutter that we have as moms, as CEOs. So much going on. I feel so excited to learn more about AI and what you're doing.
Amazing. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm so excited for the conversation.
It's a pleasure to have you. Will you tell us again what Curious Cardinals is for everyone?
Absolutely. So Curious Cardinals is a mentorship platform. We connect K through 12 students to college-age mentors to explore interests, pursue projects, develop skills, academic confidence, all with the goal of unlocking potential through the power of personalized mentorship.
And you really are, because my Lily has been working with a mentor, Ava, through your program and has now taken her passion of makeup. And as moms know, all the money our tweens and teens spend at Sephora drives us crazy. And I called Audrey and I said, help. And you're like, okay, we're going to set it up. And now she has launched her first episode of her podcast because of Curious Cardinals.
I'm so proud of her.
Which is amazing.
And that's so much of what we believe is when you work with someone who you see yourself in, you are capable of so much more.
Amazing. It really is amazing.
And so that's where it's a little ironic. You're probably like, what does this human mentorship founder have to do with AI? And so my whole thing is I'm never going to tell anyone that a AI mentor bot is going to inspire, instill confidence, or engage with your kids better than a human will, because I don't believe it will. But we at Curious Cardinals are leveraging AI at every other touch point to enable the most personalized, authentic learning journeys for kids.
So how are you, I'm so curious because AI is, when I think AI, I think, okay, ChatGPT, let me go in and type something and get an answer. How are you utilizing it?
Yeah, well, let me kind of start with the story. First of all, I was a history major at Stanford. I'm a humanities gal, I am non-technical. So hopefully that makes everyone feel a little comfortable when I share that I use AI every single hour of my working day. And I am a young, scrappy founder who works 12 to 16-hour days. It has changed my life. It has changed the future of our company. But it all started a year ago, January of 2023. One of our advisors called me and said, Audrey, you want to change the future of K through 12 education? You've got to hop on the AI bandwagon. And I was like, okay, no questions asked. This is an advisor I trust, admire, and love. She's actually now leading the CMO of Salesforce AI division. And I said, I'm just going to try to understand this. I'm going to take 15 minutes every day. This was January. And I'm going to engage with it and play around with ChatGPT and see how this can provide value to my life, how this works. And what started as 15 minutes every day of me kind of intentionally putting in the effort to try and get comfortable with this then became, oh my gosh, this is going to make me do so much more. And as I said, became a part of my every hour of my working day. And it really, how I think of AI is my coachable sidekick. And I leverage it to not replace me, not substitute me, not do better than I could. It's kind of hand in hand. It's me, and it's enabling me to do more and do more in a way, though, that's grounded in who I am, my point of view, and my perspective.
Right, so you're controlling it. I love to say you're sidekick. I love it. So you're controlling it. You're telling it what you need. But how do we even begin? You know, for moms out there who are just like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
Where do we begin?
So the other thing is we are a K through 12 education company, and I am teaching workshops to parents across the globe on AI for a reason. And now I've also talked to a board of a school. I did my first corporate workshop. Amazing. And why I'm going after adults is because I believe we need to start with adults. We need to start with parents, with educators, because if we're going to equip this next generation for an era of AI, we adults, we parents, we educators need to understand how this works.
Oh, 100%.
I grew up in the wave of social media, and parents didn't really know the detriments of how much time we were spending. It was such a new era, and so many people bring up the ethical concerns of AI, and I say it's very similar to social media. How much information do you want to share on your Instagram account? What are you comfortable with them knowing? What are you comfortable with them not knowing? Do they have your location on? It's the same, it's very similar. And so the more informed we can be, the more conscious and confident we can be as consumers, engaging with these platforms and hopefully engaging in meaningful, thoughtful discussions with our kids.
Yeah, I mean, that's so important and it's so true. We have to model, we have to understand it if we want to talk to our children about this and we want to model good behavior and how we use it as well. as well. But I just want to know how to have a sidekick. I want to know how to have someone who's going to help me make my crazy life a little more simple.
So I would say first, like homework, say I'm going to do 15 minutes every day for a month or for 6 weeks.
Okay.
Like actually allocate the time and hold yourself accountable to the everyday. And then my first lesson is treat AI like your sidekick, your coachable sidekick, not your servant. Which means that when you ask it for help with something, when you give it something, a task to help you with, you're probably not going to be thrilled with the first outcome. But you're a manager, you work with people, you lead teams, and you know when someone you're managing comes to you with the deliverable you're not happy with, you're not just going to give up on them.
Sure.
You're going to give them feedback. And so whether you're typing in ChatGPT or Claude or Perplexity or Gemini, whichever one it is, when you get an answer you're not happy with, you have to give it feedback. And so I would start with what's something you're struggling with, what's something that's taking you a long time. One thing I like to tell people to do is choose an email that's very long. Maybe they've been like putting on email snooze, copy and paste it, put it in the text of Claude, ChatGPT, whatever engine you're using, and say, please reply to this email. The more specific you can be with, please reply to this email in a succinct manner, a compassionate tone, with gratitude, to close the loop, to accomplish XYZ, with the tone and the outcome, the better the response is going to be. But more likely than not, you're not going to be thrilled with the response, so you have to give it feedback.
So you're saying when you say, okay, reply to this, and it replies to you, then you can again give it feedback on that same thing. So you follow that thread, and the AI is following it with you.
Yes.
That's incredible.
You have to give it feedback. So that's my lesson number 1. My lesson number 2 is the more you know where you want to go, the better AI will be to help you get there. So think of AI like a GPS navigation system. If you tell it, I want to go somewhere fun, it could bring you to a museum or a children's amusement park. But if you say, I want to go somewhere fun that's within a 10-mile radius of my destination, that's kid-friendly, it will take you to a much more precise destination. So the more specific you can be, the better as well your outcome will be with getting there. So that's another thing. People are frustrated. This isn't helpful. This isn't doing the work. And I'm like, well, did you say your goal? Did you say what you're trying to accomplish? So that's one of my favorite exercise there is I say there's nothing worse than meetings without agendas. And so think of a meeting you're planning for and say, my goal of the meeting is to XYZ, to accomplish X. I have a meeting with Dream mentor, founder, and CEO of Spanx, Sarah Blakely. My goal for the meeting is to introduce her to Curious Cardinals and to match her 4 kids to mentors so she can hopefully experience the magic firsthand and post about us on her Instagram. I have 25 minutes on her calendar. Please help me prepare an agenda. I say who I am. I'm the founder and CEO of Curious Cardinals. I say what Curious Cardinals is. I say who I'm meeting with. I say what my goal is. And then I say, please prepare an agenda for the 25-minute meeting. And it does a phenomenal job.
That is incredible.
But do you see how specific I am?
Yes, yes, you have to be specific. Otherwise, you're going to get vague answers, and you don't want that. So, but you can keep playing around with it. You're treating the AI as a human being in a sense.
100%. And then my third key lesson is AI is not your end-to-end destination. I think of it as your starting point or your refinement and polishing. So I kind of break that down into 2 categories: AI for idea generation or AI for polishing and refinement. I'm an ideas gal, so I don't really have a shortage of ideas, but I do like to use AI in those kind of like blank space, staring at a blank Google Doc moments. It's fun to force myself to ask, why am I struggling to get my ideas down? Like, what is the question I have? And just see what AI generates when I ask that question. But more so than not, I use it for refinement and polishing because I'm not really working on generating ideas. I'm more working on brevity. And so instead of asking it to help me write the email, I'll write an email, and I'm a humanities gal. I was a history major, and I'm someone who cares about the thoughtfulness of my word choice and conveying my thoughts as effectively as possible. And so it could take me 20 minutes to polish an email to really thoughtfully send. And so now I'll write the email in 5 minutes. I'll put it in AI and say, please help me polish this and make it more succinct. And will I copy and paste it verbatim? No. But, I realized that this was way too cumbersome. I didn't need to say this in 3 sentences. I could have actually just said this into 1. And I use it like it's my peer editor.
Love that. It's really like having an editor by your side to help you with all of that, which I can imagine our children will do as well with their papers.
100%.
To put it in and to get feedback and to get help and all the money you'll be saving on and headache. I mean, it's really going to change our lives for the better in so many ways. Do you have any fears on AI? Is there anything that you're being careful with?
Definitely have fears. I am an optimist. The ethical framework I always come back to is AI for human amplification, not replacement. And I think it's really important to always ask, how is this amplifying humanity? How is this bringing out the best in me, not replacing us or substituting humans? So I'm very passionate about sharing that ethical framework and asking people to kind of come back to that and asking, like, what's our why here? Because I do think there's a lot of job replacement fear, but when I think about it, it's going to up level just as it will with school. We're going to be able to raise the bar for critical thinking, for problem solving, for questioning, for social and emotional learning. And so that's my hope, is that we can integrate it really thoughtfully. But I would say my fear is that the right people are misinformed and then can't make the thoughtful decisions to enforce this in the most effective way, which is why I'm out here trying to inform a lot of people, because I think we really need to confront it. We need to understand it. And then we're going to have to put some parameters in place.
Yeah, it's going to be so useful. We don't want to fear it. So for mamas out there who want to get in touch with you, who want to learn more about it, to see where you are in the country, where they can meet you, where they can learn from you, how do they get more information about what you're doing?
Follow Curious Cardinals on Instagram, LinkedIn, subscribe to our newsletter. We have AI events happening all over the country, and we love to include people and welcome to them to the community. And we're posting more. We're sharing more of our thoughts, more of our tips, more of our advice. And the advice I just shared was very working moms, busy moms focused. The advice I'd share starting with kids is like a whole other topic of conversation. But I really believe that parents need to be informed in order to most thoughtfully engage with their kids on this subject matter.
Audrey Wish, you are a brilliant young mind.
Thank you.
Thank you for spending some time with us to just tell us the beginning of AI and where we start. And I'm sure mamas will reach out. Make sure to follow Curious Cardinals, reach out to Audrey. She is so available and so helpful. And use that AI. Leave your comments below and let us know any tips you have for us as well. And we'll see you next time on Moms Matter. You're watching Moms Matter. I'm your host, Shirin Yadigar. Joining us from San Francisco today is the CEO and co-creator of Curious Cardinals, Audrey Wish. She is young and brilliant and left Stanford for this passion project that now has turned into a super big deal.
Thank you.
Wow. You are just wow, Audrey.
Aw.
Can you tell everyone your story?
Yes. So I started Curious Cardinals when I was a student at Stanford. I was a history major, thought I was pre-law with aspirations to be the next Ruth Bader Ginsburg and my 10-year life plan set. Stanford sent us home due to the pandemic. I started tutoring kids and working with them, observed how disengaged and uninspired they were with what they were learning in school and how they were absorbing and regurgitating what they were reading in a textbook, but they didn't know why they were learning what they were learning. So I started applying what they were learning in school to my passions, their interests, the world around them, in hopes of making their learning feel like it actually mattered. One of them asked for math help. I was not as passionate about math, so that's where Alec, my eventual co-founder, came into the picture. Alec was an aerospace engineer at Stanford, and he started applying what they were learning in math, how airplanes fly. They began telling all their friends, and we realized when you work with a near-peer, college-age, recent grad mentor who was in your shoes not too long ago, and you have points of relatability, you both grew up in LA, you both love dance or video games or the same sports teams, whatever it is, when you feel like this is someone I see myself in, and they've accomplished amazing things, those things feel so much more attainable to you. Yeah. And it's really hard as a parent to instill motivation in your kid, to get your kid to do something, but if you can find someone who they look up to, who's a positive role model, they're capable of unlocking so much potential that exists within your kid.
Which is so true. I mean, you're doing it. I see it because my Lily has worked with one of your mentors in taking her passion for makeup, which drives us all crazy, and turning it into purpose through her podcast. But it would have never happened if I tried to help her because I'm her mom, you know?
Absolutely.
But you match them up so perfectly that she loves meeting with Ava every week. I mean, how do you match up your mentors? It's not a tutorship where any tutor could fit with every kid. It's a very specific match.
No, the match is everything. I mean, I'm a super connector, and that's kind of been natural to who I am, and just, I have like a compulsive super connectivity tendency. And when Curious Cardinal started, it was my most passionate and accomplished peers and friends. And I knew them so well. And I was talking to a kid and I said, oh my God, you also have anxiety and you love dogs and you're really ambitious. Oh my God, I have a best friend who does too. And it was these nodes of connection that I know so well and the people I love that then we said, now we have a mentor base of over 550 college mentors.
Wow.
We have a wait list of hundreds of college and recent grad students who want to be mentors. And we kind of apply that same thoughtfulness of how well you know your best friend and how thoughtfully you make a connection for them to the mentors who come to our ecosystem and the families and students. And we have a really thoughtful intake process. So that's on the mentor side. When parents come to us, we have a consultation call with them, and sometimes their kids or them and their kid together, where we ask, who are they? What are their interests? What are their superpowers? What are their areas for growth? Who would they best connect with? And what does success look like here? And so that thoughtful intake and that deep understanding on both sides is what enables us to make these really thoughtful, personalized matches.
They are extremely thoughtful. And it's just an hour a week. It's like meeting a tutor for math once a week, except you're creating a passion project. And now in this age of, oh my God, my kid's never going to get into college because they don't have a project. They're not building a house in Africa. They're not feeding, whatever it is. This is real purpose and real passion. What do you say to moms who are looking for something for their children to help them get into college? Because it's a real viable reason for parents who are coming to Curious Cardinals. That's what they want.
Absolutely. Well, we start with who is your child, and let's identify what they're genuinely interested in. Because maybe you're going to find some contrived project that sounds good for college, but if your kid's not excited about it, they're not going to spend every day of the week working on it, late nights, weekends. They're just not. Right. And that's the type of dedication, that's the type of time you need to commit to something to build something phenomenal. And so we really want to understand authentically who is your child, what gets them jazzed up, what makes them tick. And let's start with that, because when we're there, we can do so much. We can build so much upon that. When you have that North Star, it makes some of the unglamorous, not so fun aspects of it worth it, because you know why what you're doing today is getting you to the place where you genuinely want to be.
Wow, I love that. And it really is so fulfilling. It builds so much confidence within the students. I've seen it firsthand, right? Yeah. It builds the confidence and the resilience to know you believe in yourself. You can make this happen. It's not just pie in the sky, an idea that I have, but I'm going to execute this. And Curious Cardinals makes that happen, Audrey.
Thank you.
What you have created is really revolutionary, in my opinion.
Well, I would say it's the relationship, and then it's the accountability. It's really important to meet weekly to say, hey, we end the session. This is what you're going to do next time before the next session. At the beginning of the session, how did it go? What's our goal for today? What are we going to accomplish? And learning we encourage all students and mentors to set SMART goals, specific, measurable, action, results-oriented, time-bound goals, and learn you don't need a teacher telling you you have a test next week or next Friday's essay to achieve things. You yourself can take initiative, assign a goal, and hold yourself accountable to bring it to fruition. And I think when students have agency over deciding that goal for themselves, it's incredibly empowering.
Yeah, well, you have definitely empowered these students. I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us and sharing your story with us. Mamas out there, Curious Cardinals is your ticket into helping your children find their true purpose through their passion. We're all looking for ways to help our children one-up each other in ways of getting into college. Curious Cardinals can help you do that. Reach out to them, follow them on Instagram, and let us know how it worked out for your kids. And we'll see you all next time on Moms Matter.